All right, let's do this. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I know that I am. So my friends, let's get to work. It's going to be a short stream today. We're basically just going to be putting on some background colors. But first of all, let's go over to the computer. Let's check out what we did yesterday, and then we'll start work. So yesterday, what did we do actually? Yesterday was our splattering day. So as we got all the paints ready, all we had to do is lay them on the floor, all three of my paintings, and then start splattering. So we started off with some turquoise colors and some purple colors, and then a little bit of black paint on top of that. So what are we going to do today? So you're wondering, where the hell are these paintings? Well, obviously they are there on the floor, ready to go back on the wall. So let's do that, okay? Let's go back over here. Let me grab my staple gun and let's put these paintings back in their place. Now, it's not very complicated. I have the purple outline from before, so I'm just going to line it back up. I know that it'll be a nice straight line. There we go. I'll just double check, make sure it's nice and straight, and it is. Are these staples in the wall? No, I didn't think so. This didn't look like it quite went in the wall. There we go. There we go. Now, let's put up the turquoise blue, and then we have turquoise green. So, just like before, we're going to put this back in its place. I can look at the outlines again. I don't have to think. There we go. Very good. And our turquoise green. Let's grab this baby up. I am going to, while I'm here, just bring the camera back up. Camera number 1. There we go. Not very complicated, so we got that done. So what are we going to do now? Well, we're going to just lay the first coat of our background colors. I'm going to start off with these circles. This is going to be a cobalt blue, a green, and then we're going to lay out the white for my nuclear guy as a background color before we put on some colors tomorrow and day after. So let me clean off my keyboard real quickly. So what did we say? We're going to start off, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Let's start off with the cobalt blue. There we go. I have a palette right here. Grab my knife. There we go. And I'm doing these 3 paintings as though I was doing posters that I will eventually glue, that I would eventually glue in the streets. That is the goal, except that they're not going to be glued in the streets. They are going to go to my gallery, which asked me to do some smaller paintings than the ones that I usually do, which are 66 inches by 46 inches, something like that. And they wanted something smaller for some clients who just wanted, who didn't have that much room. So, no big deal. If that's what he wants, that's what I'll do. So, I got some cobalt blue right here. I'm just going to mix it in with some water. So let's find the paintbrush I'm going to be using. I guess it doesn't matter. This one looks just fine. This is going to be the first coat. I'm afraid that most likely I'm going to have to put 2 coats on. So tomorrow might be a very short stream as well. unless I can turn my fan. Let me go back over here. I'll come back over here, move this camera out of the way, and I'll bring my fan a little closer. Maybe that will help things dry faster. Though, to be honest, I'm in no rush. But anyways, it feels good for me too to have that nice fan on me. It's kind of overcast here in Nice today, a little bit of rain, nothing, no big deal, just sprinkling, but it's still that hot and muggy, summer weather. So having that fan on does feel good. So let me get the cobalt blue ready. I'm gonna mix it with some water. Now, if I was blending colors like I did the other day, I would probably just go to camera number 1 and do this. But really, it's not rocket science. It's just blending water with the paint so that it will spread on the canvas easier. And like I mentioned, for many colors, I've mentioned before on my stream, that no matter how thick I put this paint on, it usually needs a second coat of paint just to hide the brush strokes, the marks of the brush strokes. So sometimes it doesn't matter, and sometimes it does. Since this is a paper, it shows a little bit more. So I am going to keep this relatively thick as well, because I do want this blue to be as opaque as possible, even though it will take 2 coats. It's not an excuse to not get the paint to be the right consistency so that it covers as best as it can. Okay, so let's try that. So let me get camera number 1 all set up here. Kind of move it out of the way so I'm not in front of the lens. And I can zoom in here. That's pretty cool. There we go. So let's get to work. Zoom in on camera number 1. And there's no need for me to get too close to the edge of this little circle here, because there will be a black outline. And with that black outline, I can fix everything I screw up. But I'm going to try to be as precise as possible. There we go. Get the hard part done first, and then the fun part afterwards. There we go. How's that look? That looks pretty decent, I guess. Okay, very good. So let's move on to our next little circles right here, to the purple. Of course, I'm going with that same mentality as I would be posters that I'm going to glue in the streets, which means I'm doing this as a series. So again, I don't have to get too close to the little circle here, and get a little bit closer on the outer circle as best as I can. I must admit, this brush is not the best brush for that. It's not too bad, but I do have to kind of concentrate here. There we go. So as you can see, this is going relatively quickly because I don't have that much of a surface paint. Couldn't quite see the pencil mark until I stepped back for a second. So that's pretty cool. Very two out of 3 done. Let's get the third one done. Just get a little drop of water. There we go. I spilled over up here a little bit, but you know what? It doesn't matter because of my black outline. I'll be able to catch up my screw-ups when we have to do that part. There we go. Plenty of paint left. Might as well use it up instead of being stingy. There we go. Step back for a second. Did I spill over or didn't I go far enough? I didn't go far enough right here. So, no big deal. There we go. All right. So we got those 3 puppies done. That is pretty cool. So what we'll do now is, before I put the green on, I'm going to do my 3 nuclear guys in white first. And for that, I have some sort of like a stencil that I've been using of my head here. So I'm just going to draw this out and use this as a stencil. That's what I used to do for when I cranked out posters. For a while there, I cranked out posters for like 5 years in a row, gluing them all over Europe. Amsterdam, Paris, Berlin, and then New York City, whatnot. Putting a little color into the streets of these cities. Unfortunately, it didn't bring me any money, so I had to kind of get back and do canvases. So let me just draw these out very quickly here. I want these guys to be looking up a little bit. Just like that. 1. Here's the second one. There we are. Just like working in the factory, cranking out nuclear heads with masks. Who would have thought that 30 years ago when I started these masks that we would be wearing them on a daily basis. Who would have guessed? Well, I did. Okay, so we got this together. Let me put my little head back here in its little nest. There we go. So we got that done. How are we looking here? The stream is going well. We have an upload of 5,000 kilobytes. Everything looks no drop frames. Everything is going well. Didn't forget to turn off the microphone. Excellent. Okay, now we can concentrate on what we were doing. And what were we doing? We were getting white paint to do the next step. And we were going to try to figure out what paintbrush I was going to use. Again, this is just going to be the first coat. So, I am going to go, well, oh yes. Oh, I guess I don't. Okay, I was already in the frame of mind of I forgot this was just the background color. So the paintbrush really doesn't matter because I don't have to draw out the eyeball or anything. All I have to do is just fill this in with white paint. So, jeez. So let me just get a palette together here. Actually, I have a whole bunch of clean palettes right here. Might as well. There we go, a little white paint. And we'll do the same thing as we did for the cobalt. We will mix a little bit of water so the paint flows better. It's really pretty thick right there. First, we're going to clean off our knife. Keep our materials nice and clean. And I had a lot of things I had to do today. I just came into the studio like about 15, 20 minutes before going on air. And I was like, I had so many things I had to do today. I wasn't even sure I was going to come in and do my stream. But again, if I didn't come here and paint, what would I do? Go home, watch TV? No way. No way, no way. So I am just also going to go back here in my kitchen area and get a bottle of water. There we go. Because it is, as I mentioned, it is pretty hot. And though the water is warm, it's wet. So that's pretty good. So, white paint, there we go. Let's stay focused. So I'm still, why am I hesitating on finding a brush? It shouldn't be such a big deal. And for some reason, I'm procrastinating here. So, water, white paint, let's blend this all together. Boy, this white paint is really thick. Not for long, though. Let me just work this all for a few seconds. Again, I don't want this to be too liquid. I don't want it dripping all over the canvas, and I do want it to be nice and opaque, but I'll still see through this. It's really just so that, because I'm going to put yellow, my guys are going to be in yellow, and so if I want the yellow to be nice and vibrant, I need this white background. And even with this white background, I'm going to have to put 2 coats. And sometimes I even have to put a 3rd coat for the yellow to be to look the way it should. I mean, I like my colors to be so intense, nice and vivid. And yellow is probably the hardest one to do that. Hardest color to do because basically you can see through it. So I got the paint ready here. I'm not sure I have the right amount. Do I have enough? Probably. And you know what? I'm actually going to grab my chair, if you don't mind, to do this. So that I'm nice and comfortable. Let's turn camera number 1 over to where we're going to be working. Actually, I'll just move it over a little bit on the side, even though it will distort everything a little bit. So, am I all set? I think I am. So let's go to camera number 1. Let's do this. Again, this is going to go very quickly. There we go. Just like that. Pretty simple stuff. I'll put this on nice and thick. Long hair right there. Don't know where that could have come from. Jesus, several long hairs. What is all this? I'll leave them in. Why not? I'm glad they can analyze my DNA in 2,000 years. And you know what? I'm going to make this a devil guy. Why not? So, I'm going to stand up for that, though. Just like that. Okay, so there's number 1. Let's move on to number 2. I'll be doing the same thing. Maybe I'm just as good standing up. I've got plenty of paint, no need to be stingy. Let's get this. Yeah. Very cool, very nice. Just background color, right? There we go. Worry about the details when we actually put down the colors. So let me bring this baby over here to number 1 as well. Number 1, what am I talking about? I don't know. Just like with the rest, there'll be a black outline, so I don't have to be too worried. Just like that. Let's get the little horns in there. That up a little bit. Back. Up. Oh, how's that look? Let me just step back for a second, take a look. Okay. I think they look okay. Maybe this one here's a little. There we go. So, very good. Let me pull this camera back over here. I'll get it ready for our next shot, where we're going to tackle that little circle. And I'm a little undecided on this little circle, so I'm going to just step back again, grab some water. It'll give me a few seconds just to think this out. I was thinking a nice dark green, and I think I'm going to go with that. Nice dark green, why not? Okay, very good. That was quick. So let's grab another palette. And that's pretty cool because I see with this fan on, my blue is almost dry, so I'll be able to put a second coat today, which means we'll be able to tackle it tomorrow, and that is saves us one more day. As you recall, during the fall and the winter time, it takes so long to dry that I have really very short painting days on certain things because I can't progress if paint isn't dry, especially when I do the background colors to large paintings or whatever. Yes, the painting size doesn't have anything to do with it, really. Okay, so I'll stop talking and start working. So what is this? Is this, ooh, yes, this is green paint. Not sure this is the green I wanted. What's this? This is the green paint as well. I have a bunch of greens because I do a lot of jungle scenery and plants and stuff. So I'm wondering, I'm suddenly having second thoughts, maybe using this green diluted with some white paint. How's that going to look? That's going to look weird with this turquoise background and this one as well. So I do have to stick with my dark green. So what does this look like? I don't know. I'm hesitating here. Got to think things out. After all, this is not a... One thing is for sure is that this paint with the heat is drying up. I'm just going to add some water, even if I don't use it, just to work this paint a little bit. Make sure it doesn't harden too much and I'll never be able to use it again. So I'm just going to... And I should maybe take a look at all my paints. Thinking, realizing this. So this paint looks pretty good. If this is kind of the dark green I was kind of hoping for, so maybe I'll use this. Not what I had in mind at first, but why not? I mean, there's going to be some shading lighter, darker on top of this. This is just the background, right? So if it doesn't look right, I can always change it or make it better. Anyways, so let me get a palette out, like right here. I'm going to put quite a bit of that green paint. I can always put it back in the can, right? All the excess. And again, I don't have that much of a surface to do, so there's no point of me putting too much. Though I'm going to want to put this on nice and thick. And even putting that nice and thick, I am going to have to be careful not to put too much water, not to dilute this green paint too much. I do recall this is a weird green. I don't know the name of it either. So what, I need a smaller brush, obviously. So 1, 2, or 3. And the winner is number 3. Let's try this. So just close this up. Put it away, put this away as well. Get rid of some of this clutter. There we go. There we go. Okay. So just like with the cobalt and the white paint, I'm going to add water because this is really, really thick. So, and even though I do want it thick, I don't want to knife it on. This as well is going to probably need 2 coats. And that is before the shading that I'll add to it afterwards. So let me step over here so at least I take advantage of the coolness of the fan. Okay, this looks pretty good. I'm hesitating if I should add one last drop of water to this, or should I go for this thickness that maybe one tiny little drop. Let's just add one more little drop here. Well, look at that, nice and creamy. That's what we want. Definitely don't want this dripping on the blue or anywhere else on the canvas. So let's go with this. Okay, so I'll switch over to camera number 1 and we can get to work. And here also I'm going to have to try to be careful. What's going on here? Okay. I'm losing these pencil marks. To go out a little bit more like that. There we go. And this paint is awfully thick. So let me just add some water to it again, just to do the filling. There we go. I could have used a little bit wider brush, but There we go. So let me just step back for a second, take a little look at the circle, and it looks pretty good. I can always fix it with my black edge. So I'll move on to the next one. Zoom in like that. I'm going to add a little bit more water to my paint because it was really thick. Thicker than I wanted. Just like that. And you know what I'm going to do even? Just going to cheat a little bit by grabbing, if I can find it, my compass, which I'm going to give a slight edge to the pencil here. There we go. And I'm going to just go over this one more time so I can really see what I'm doing. There we go. There we go. That'll make my life so much easier and be able to be a little more precise in the execution of adding the paint to all this. So let's go for it. There we go. More, there we go. Of course, with a smaller brush, it takes a little longer. There we go. And boom, number 3. Let's tackle that also. I'm going to just add another drop of water. There we go. Get the outer circle hard part first, just like that. Beautiful. Wonderful. Marvelous. All right. Very good. Well, let's just fill in all this. Again, another shot of water. Can't believe how quickly this is drying on my palette. There we go. Et voilà. All right. Very good. Very good. So, I am definitely going to come back way over here because I am going to add a second coat of that cobalt blue. Like that, tomorrow we will have a head start. And tomorrow is what? Tomorrow's Friday. So those are the days I'm always happy to quit early. Up my knife. Let's grab this cobalt blue. Again, I don't think I need all that much, especially the second coat always takes a lot less and goes so much faster because I don't have to be as precise towards the borders. I can really just zoom in. It's the center of the circle that I really want to get, even though it will have some shadowing on it to give it a little depth and a little bit of richness. I still don't want to see any of those brush strokes, and it's really in the center that you see them. Okay, there's that. Don't have to look for my brush. I still have it right here. Get rid of the excess water. I don't know why, because I'm just going to add water to the paint. I guess I'm thinking already of Friday and taking off instead of being concentrated on what I'm doing. Oh yeah. You can tell what kind of a student I was. So let's just work all this with a little dab of water again. Oop, there we go. And before I put the second coat on, I'm going to just step back for a second and take a look at what I'm doing. That might be a good idea once in a while, instead of just going through all these automatic gestures without even looking at what I'm doing. Okay, so what am I doing here? Okay. So I'm doing that. All right. Okay, very good. Okay, so boom. Let's go back to this top thing. Go back to camera number 1 for that second coat of cobalt blue. There we go. Like I said, I don't have to go near the edges. Oh, I'm not going to. I just really want to get rid of all these brush strokes in the middle. Zoom. Don't even have to reload the paintbrush. There we go. I love this cobalt blue. It's such a wonderful. Use it quite a bit. There we go. That's all we had to do really there. And same over here. Very quickly. Not even having to go to the edges, get rid of the brush strokes. There we go. Boom. That was quick. Quick and to the point. And let's get back to number 3 here. Which camera's for that? There we go. There we go. All right. So let me just put the blue back in the jar. We don't want to waste anything. Not at the prices that these paints go for. I just ordered another roll of paint, of canvas, I should say. And what was it, 100, 200, about $200 for 10 meters, which is what? 3 x 3, 9. 30 feet, is that it? Or 30 feet is what? 30 feet is 10 meters? Yes, more or less, I don't know. 10 meters by a meter 60. And before I was using a meter 70, so, but they didn't make them anymore, or I don't know what. Never can find the same thing twice in a row. So anyways, I'll stop bitching and start looking at what I did. Very cool. Okay, I'll bring camera number 1 back here so we can look at all 3 of these together. I'll just zoom in just for our little recap. Right there. And then I'll just step over here. So that's what we see from camera number 2. I'll just switch over to camera number 1. Little close-up. This is just so I can do my little movie, recap the work of the day. There. So there you have it. A short stream, 47 minutes. Is that it? 48 minutes. So pretty quick. So anyways, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this session as much as I did. I just love painting. So anyways, join me on Instagram. I post a lot of stuff on there under TheZenRebel, of course, hashtag TheZenRebel. And join me tomorrow. I'll be here at 9 a.m. like usual. I'm going to leave you also like usual with 2 things. I'm going to leave you with my schedule and by saying, ciao mes amis.